Greetings and welcome again to Transit Ministries, our ministry for men and for those who walk with men. And this is specifically our personal discovery series. And today we talk about regulation and the law. It is interesting that we exist in an environment where there are rules. When you get up in the morning and you decide, let's say you own cars, and you decide which of your two cars you want to drive, that is freedom. But when you drive into the road and you keep to the correct side of the road and you give way where you're supposed to give way and you stop at the traffic lights, that is obedience. When you get up in the morning and you decide what you're going to wear, that is freedom. But when you get into the environment where you are in and you conform to a dress code and you say to yourself, I'll disqualify myself from getting into this place because I'm not dressed appropriately, that is obedience. So we need to understand the difference between freedom and liberation on one end and discipline and obedience on the other. And in every place we operate, there are regulations. So God created the whole world, created everything. And the last thing he did was create man and put him in there. To say, man, here is the world that I've created for you. And having created this world for you, here are the rules. You will eat of this, you will not eat of that. This is long before the 10 Commandments. You will eat of this type of food, you will not eat of this type of food. Man was told. This tree, of all the trees you may eat, freedom. And of this one you will not. Discipline and obedience. So the do's and don'ts were spelled out for man. And the same happens today. But you've realized that there are so many movements for freedom. The freedom of this, freedom of that, freedom of speech, freedom of eat whatever I want. The whole issue of excessive, uncontrolled freedom is unbiblical. I know you'll not agree with this, but the truth of the matter is, the Bible gives rules and regulations. This you will do, this you won't. This started from before the fall of man. After the fall, we have the same thing going through. So we had the 10 Commandments in Exodus. And finally, in the New Testament, we still had the Lord telling us, this you do, that you don't. Moses told you you can divorce because of the hardness of your hearts, but I am telling you, whoever divorces should not marry again, and so on and so forth. So we have rules and regulations. And where we get this adulterated notion that we must disabuse ourselves of, that says that everyone must be free to do anything, that is not the definition of freedom. That is the definition of rebellion. That is the definition of being totally anti-establishment. The Bible says in Romans 7 verse 18, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, I'm reading from the King James Version, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Verse 19, for the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. In other words, a human being is programmed to be naturally anti-establishment. If you're left to your own device and this side is sin and this side is good and obedience, naturally you'll always lean towards the side of sin. That's how we are. So in Romans 8 verse 7, it tells us that the carnal mind is enmity against God. For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. So we need to understand that naturally we are disobedient. So we need God just to be natural. We need God just to be normal. Because our natural state is in the negative. So many of us have lived with so much wrongdoing that it has become our new normal. You've done the wrong thing so frequently that it has become your new zero, your new neutral, your new normal. And when you improve slightly on it, you believe you're already doing the right thing. We need recalibration, brothers. We need recalibration, sisters. God bless you, and stay tuned.